I'm going to show you a combination of formulas that some work, some don't. Count the unique appliances in a list. Here we have a refrigerator. If we hit F9, we're seeing changes, and we're going to do a bit of a count. Or in this case, we're going to sum up some stuff here. We have sum and frequency. If you're not familiar with how frequency works, I'll explain it. Sum, frequency in the if, and sum, frequency, if. Match row and row. There again, as I explained in a couple other videos, this row, when we're using row, what's the purpose? Here we go. Fred Williams, Excel Prime, we're counting unique. Well, we're going to count unique what? We're going to count unique product ID, and then we're going to count appliances. Now, when you're doing this, be careful here. Why? Because we're so focused on the appliance that we overlook the product ID. Let me show you what's going on here. We have a list. We have a list here of just product ID appliances in units. We have this quasi filter that may play a part, may not. We have this unique appliance. We have unique product ID and unique appliance. Why is this middle red and highlighted? Well, I'm going to point that out to you, and then I'm going to leave that for you to fix if you can. Product ID, all we're going to do is look for product ID. Now be careful here. Don't think you're looking at the appliance, even though it says count unique appliance. We're looking at product ID. And I break this stuff down. So I can walk you through it step by step. Sometimes if you look at something like this, you don't know where the starting point is. Older versions of Excel, remember, Control-Shift-Enter. And this is a hit F9er. In other words, you can just mix this up if you want and see the changes in the unique side. So let's look at this. Sum frequency. Frequency counts values that fall within specified ranges. In other words, here, product ID, if we have multiple or duplicates, we're going to put those into a category or a bin. And then as we move along here, we'll eventually just convert those over into one. Why? Because that's what frequency does. It just packages them up, and then it states, well, even though there's 4 refrigerators in here, it's still one in the way we look at it. Frequency. Think of a distribution. Remember a bell curve? We take a sample, we're going to put a whole bunch of things in category 1 and all the way over to category 6. Then, however many we have, we're still going to look at that frequency as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go from there. All right. So all we're doing is looking at frequency. And here is frequency. Product ID. I'm not putting labels up here. So you're just going to have to work right to left. And here's your 4. Then we go down, and this will be row 1. Then we have 398. And there are 4 in category 2 or frequency 2. Then oven, and you can see there's 1. Then 0, 0, 0, and so on and so forth until we find any other unique. So these are all unique, but there's 4. And that's sort of a shortcut or a hint. If there's only 4 unique, well, isn't that our answer? But let's not jump the gun here. Over here, if you want to know what this triangle represents, many times you're going to see these triangles up here. It's because this sheet was protected. I protected it. And this represents it's not locked. This sheet's not locked. All right. It's not a big deal. All I have to do to fix this is just lock up or just reprotect the sheet, and it'll go away. All right. It's just as I'm doing this, I have to unlock it in order to make changes. So not a big deal. Just ignore it. And our next step will be to take frequency. frequency greater than 0. What does the 0 represent? It's just saying over here, convert this over into true or false. That's all the 0 greater than. And all we're asking is this greater than 0? Is it? Well, yeah. All right. Not a big deal. I mean, that's the key thing about frequency. That's the bottom line. All right. For this to work, we definitely have to have greater than 0. Then all we're going to do is throw a unary around this whole thing. Why? We're going to convert these to true and false. Then what's the final output? Is sum. We're going to go down this list and just sum it up, and that's our unique. So I said there was a bit of a clue as to the final outcome. Well, there it is. Next is this attempt. The attempt to incorporate this refrigerator. What problem are we seeing here? Well, I'm going to leave that up to you, okay? I'm going to leave that to you to resolve. And then down below is a takeoff of this thing. So this bottom one works. This top one doesn't. Now here, if we look at this second model, all right, what do we see here? We just see a bunch of falses, right? So that should give you a clue, because if we move down here, and we're using this if statement, if C14 equals A, well, perhaps right there, that's a problem. C514 is equal to A. We're trying to find a letter. I don't think that's even, well, F9. Let's see if we can find, we're trying to find O. Okay. And this is case sensitive. Oh, we're looking for anything with an A. And you can see right off the bat, there's nothing in here that indicates an A. There's no cap A. Basically, we're just changing. See how this, we have C5, C14 equals C2, which is dishwasher. And then here we have C5, C14 equals R. And we could do this as a test. And you could see here, the problem lies in this right here, in this R. And the reason being we probably need to do something like this. Probably need to throw a wild card in there and see if that F9. And anyway, I have to move on. You can see the solution's there. I'm kind of just diverting this so you guys can fix it on your own. And here is this third example. Basically, we're going to use the frequency, but we're going to throw a match row. Now notice here, we didn't use a match row. We can't find something if we can't find the row. All right, so here, we're going to move down here, and we have this intimidating looking formula. Notice we're unique appliance, and not this ID. We can use the same thing over in this column B, but let's just try to see, let's see if we can work this thing out. C5, C14 equals C2. In other words, dishwasher, our quasi-filter. And all this is wrapped around the if statement. So basically we have a logical test. C5, C14 equals 2. Value of true, give me the row. Value of false, well, none. There's none. So we're limited. We're just looking for frequency. Remember what frequency is doing? It's trying to find the array. Okay? What's the array? Well, it's going to be this dishwasher. If we go up here, go back up here, what's the array here for frequency? Okay, B5, B14. Well, isn't that exactly what we're doing here? Just in a more complicated way. Here, we look at this frequency. We're trying to find this array, which is going to be this information wrapped with this. Here's our requirement, our criteria. Essentially what we're trying to do. Then our bins array. Our bins array, you're going, what? Well, you know, we have our data array and we have the bins array, which is a really complicated way of saying B5 to B14, right? We have this bins array. And we have this other bins array, which is you're going, well, why does it have to be so complex? It's because we have this, there's two things. We're using text first and foremost, and then we're picking through the dishwasher, but then our array is going to be right here. So if we look here, I think I'll just split this page. View, if you need to split a page, what do I mean by splitting? I can cut this in half. So we can go split here. See, now we have quadrants. And if I want to get rid of the quadrants and just see half of it, see this gray line? Now I can scroll down here. Again, most of you are keenly aware of how this works, but some of you, this may be new. Anyway, here is our formula, and here is the breakdown. Here is our bins array, B5, B14. Yeah, all it is the 1 to 10. All we're doing is our bins are 1 through 10. Okay, why do we add 1? Because it starts at 0. If we go B5 to B14, B5 to B14 is equal to, see how it starts at 0? We need to start at 1. All right, just a technical issue. Be careful when you're doing this. What are we doing? Row. What does row do? It's counting. It's just counting these rows, and then we're going to subtract 1 in order to get our starting point. We need a starting point. Then, if we look, our next dissection will be the match. All right, so here we have this. What is it? It's the bins array. Okay, basically we have a logical test and value of true. Well, you know, we can tear this match apart. Basically, it's just going to say if C2, then show me the row. And if we look, we got cabinets, we have 1. Dishwasher, not true. Dishwasher, no. And you're going to see cabinets right here, true. It's going to be what? 5 and then 2. Now keep in mind what we're trying to accomplish here. Look at our structure here. Match B5, B14. What we're doing, we're looking at unique IDs, all right, by countertop. All right. So that's why if you look at the numbers here, we're gonna see some peculiarity, and that is simply because if we look at this match, we're going to see a bunch of falses and trues. Okay, why? Well, we're looking at cabinets, but we're comparing product ID. So when we're looking for uniqueness, it's based on this product ID. Here, we're going to see false cabinets, and then 645. See any other cabinets in here? All right, it's just showing row 2, F9, and then refrigerator, probably big 0. And then refrigerator, we have the same ID, okay? And F9, I know. I make this a little more complicated than it needs to be with this F9, and that's good. I don't want it just a straightforward approach. I want you to think through this. We have a refrigerator, and how many different IDs do we have? Well, you can see 2. We have 99 and 177. So look here, we have 2, and that would be row 2. Be sure to check out our extensive courses, which include Excel data and text manipulation for advanced users, beginners, intermediate. We also have this great essentials, the A to Z for advanced users, the comprehensive beginner level 1 and 2. Then we have our advanced formulas, strictly formulas, great set of courses, which we have a beginner level 1 and beginner level 2, this intermediate level, and we have this advanced level. Click on any of the links. There's a short video that explains everything about the course. Check it out. If you don't understand how match works, it can really create problems. One, match goes down the rows. So basically the first match is going to be a true, 177. Going to be row 2. Then it's going to look for any other matches, and that's why it's 2, because there's another 177 refrigerator. Now go down. Now 2 represents row 2. Then the next refrigerator is going to be all the way down here to row 10 or the equivalent of right here. And it's going to be refrigerator 99. Okay. That's one. So if you see two, there's another 99 refrigerator in here. Should be refrigerator and refrigerator. I don't see it. Refrigerator, we have microwave, we have refrigerator and refrigerator. Looking at the breakdown of match, again, all we're doing is looking for a match. We found refrigerator. It's number 2. That's a match. Refrigerator is going to stick to that number throughout because it's the match. It matches our requirement, and that is 2. Why? Because that's the first item that was found. And if we look up here in this breakdown, row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's what match is doing. Remember, it just finds the row or it just matches. And so it picks up the first refrigerator and then that's the match. And then it just repeats it as it goes down this column, all right? And we have this if statement. It just basically says logic, value of true. And then the value of false, if left empty, is going to just throw a false. Moving to the next part of this thing, we're going to put the frequency if statement. Now we know row, we know our match. So now we're going to put a frequency there. And what are we going to see? Well, we're going to see 0 and then 3, 1, and a bunch of zeros. Why? Because we're trying to put the IDs here, 177 and 177 and 177. Again, remember, you see this B5, B14, that's all we matched. We matched the IDs to this refrigerator. Don't get confused. I know I'm referencing the refrigerators, but I should be referencing these product IDs. And that's what frequency is doing here. If you look, the data array, F9, you're going to see, well, we're looking at 177. So you're going to see 177, 2, and then 3, 2, 2. Okay? And 3, so you have 177. Now keep in mind what frequency is doing. It's just packaging this stuff up, all right? And our requirement was we're looking at product ID, all right? And if you look, there's going to be, well, we have 177 and refrigerator. Well, then we have the 99, which is both refrigerator and microwave. You're going to see 3 99s. Okay, the next step here, and trust me, you do not want to deal with this, all right? You do not want random in your product ID, all right? It's a nightmare. But since we're this far into this nightmare with this frequency deal, let me try to point out or show you how challenging this is, all right? Here, notice on the left, we just have frequency. We have frequency B5, B14, B5, B14. Here's a frequency, right? So we're going to see 877. And 1, 2, we're going to see 4. And notice where it is? It's at number 1, okay? And then notice any other 4 877s are left 0. Then we're going to look at 398, and it's going to go down, and it's just picking the 398s. That's 2. And then there's 2 99s, and there's 2 645s. Kind of grasp that, okay? Because now I'm going to dive into this example here. Remember, we have countertop. We have this formula here. Here we have the frequency, and keep in mind, this is critical here, C5, C14 equals C2, countertop. It's critical, right? Then if we look over here, well, we know there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 matches, so 4 matches, okay? So we have countertop, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 countertops. Here's what's critical. You notice we have this 877 and it's counted 4 times. We have to look at it from this match deal. We have to look at it from this match deal and how many countertops are true in 877. There's only going to be one. There's only going to be, even though there's 4 counts, this is how we've instructed frequency to go about its business. So we get 1. We get 1 here. Now frequency doesn't care about this lineup, all right? So it's going to go down and it's going to look for 877. So that's 1. Then it's going to go down and it's going to find the next countertop. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Countertop 999. How many 99s are there? There's 2, but how many are true? 1. We're going to get 1 here. Got it? It's confusing as hell. Trust me. We go down. Where's the next countertop? It's 6. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Countertop, those are both true. What does frequency do? It's going to give us 2. Wow. That's a pain in the rear. Then we're just going to do what? We're basically going to put a unary in here. All right, not a big deal. Any true falses, now we're just converting over to 1 and 0. To wrap this thing up, we're going to put the sum in here. We're going to sum this whole deal. In the end, it's going to be 3. It's going to be 3, okay? It's going to sum up this deal. Here, I didn't put the greater than 0, and that's important, greater than 0. Here, you're going to see the falses and the trues, okay? And then sum is going to come in here in the end and do what? It's going to add all this stuff up. And we're going to get 2 or 3 or whatever. Well, frequency does its job, but interpreting the outcome. And then I strongly suggest when you get a product ID, you try to remove duplicates. Look, in some cases you may have duplicates, and this is a perfect example of how to interpret that information. Brad Williams, XL Prime. Thanks for watching.